Theatre Company will kick off performances in just about a couple of days. The critically acclaimed show, Emergency, will be among the featured work, so let's take a listen to some of it.
We interrupt this broadcast to bring you this breaking news report. A slave ship has just risen out of the Hudson River in front of the Statue of Liberty. People across Manhattan are leaving their homes and jobs to witness what many are calling some deed. Slaveologists are busy trying to figure it out.
My name's Marissa. And
Such a talent. That is the work of our next guest, Daniel KOA Beaty, an award-winning actor, singer, writer, community activist. He's everything.
Everything.
You name it. He's here with a look at what's on top this season. Good morning, Daniel. Thanks so much for being here.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, great to see you. Crossroads Theatre Company. It was founded more than 40 years ago. That's pretty amazing. Can you tell us about it and what the mission is?
Absolutely. It's one of the oldest historically African-American theater companies in the country. And its mission is to make sure that we have the diversity of voices represented in this country on the stage. You know, it's called the American Theater. And historically, you know, people who have not been white Americans have not had as much access, and Crossroads really stepped in 40 years ago to make sure that we did have more access.
Yeah, you know, this season, your company has a connection with the one and only Amanda Gorman. So obviously,
Yes.
for those who don't know, she's the National Youth Poet Laureate who was at the inauguration of President Biden. What's your connection here?
Well, you know, my history is also as a poet. My father actually was incarcerated because of an addiction when I was a child. But he left a book called Black Poets, and it had his notes scribbled in it because, you know, he was a brilliant man and just had that challenge of addiction. And I always became a poet myself, even studied English at Yale, and then was a champion at the New York Poets Cafe. And my play Emergency also has spoken word in it. So I love seeing Amanda and the beauty of how she's inspiring us with her poetry and her words as well.
Yeah, when day comes, it kicks off September 22nd. What do you really hope people will get from seeing it?
You know, when day comes, my play Emergency, we're all asking the question, how do we heal? How do we heal these pandemics of race, the pandemics of COVID? And, you know, a lot of our live performances, almost all of our live performance was shut down. And so this is really an opportunity for us to come together in the sanctuary that is the theater, not to preach at each other, but to be together in a way that we can remember our interconnectedness and find our way back to hope and healing.
Oh my gosh, I love the message of it all, right? Because it's so easy to forget in the year and a half plus that we've gone through. Take us through some of the intricacies of the storyline and really how you were able to get it through production.
Absolutely. So this play, Emergency, actually first premiered at the Public Theater in New York City. It was actually the second production of the current artistic director, Oscar Eustis. And it was presented by one of my mentors, who's now an ancestor, Ruby Dee. And it imagines if a slave ship rose in front of the Statue of Liberty in present-day New York City. And I use this metaphor intentionally because the Statue of Liberty is our greatest symbol of freedom in this country, I believe. And a slave ship represents a time of greatest bondage in our nation's history. So a slave ship in front of the Statue of Liberty asks the question, what stands in front of our freedom? And I play 43 different characters who are all very personal ways of asking that question.
Yeah, I was just going to say that's the most fascinating part about that particular performance is that, like you said, more than 40 characters, and you play them all. How did you prepare for that? And the stamina you must have to be able to pull that off.
You know, it really underscores for me the idea that we are all interconnected. And I endeavor when I, you know, do these multi-character performances to come from my heart and really not just play a stereotype, but to, you know, just find the humanity. And so once I'm able to find the humanity of the character, I'm able to pop in and out of all of the characters very quickly.
So impressive.
Hey, sorry.
No.
I love you. I love your voice. I love your energy.
Appreciate that so much. I really enjoy you guys as well, you guy and lady.
It's all right. It's all right.
How do you go through the voices? I mean, that's like
I can't imagine.
Air change,
I
anything
know.
to help.
There you go.
That's amazing.
Oh, just like that.
Oh,
Huh?
geez, you are quite a talent.
Yeah,
Daniel, thanks so
definitely.
much for joining us this morning. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Good luck.
All right, and the 2021-2022 season of Crossroads Festival Theatre begins Wednesday, September 22nd. For a calendar of events and ticket details, visit crossroadstheatrecompany.org.